Human resource professionals deal with the segment of the population that works in current jobs or that's looking for work. The goal is to develop jobs that are inherently motivating to employees or create work situations that are desirable enough to attract and hire competent workers. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, compared to the labor force of the past, today's workplace is comprised of many diverse individuals, including older adults, female employees, and people representing different racial and ethnic backgrounds. The Census Bureau projects that the U.S. population in 2020 will be about 341 million, and people aged 55 and older will comprise about 29% of that total. Population is expected to grow at a slower rate than in previous decades because population growth in the United States has slowed, and the labor force participation rate has decreased. The labor force participation rate is the percentage of the population working or seeking work. The labor force participation rate peaked at 67% before 2000 and has since declined to about 65%. Part of the reason for this trend is that older people are still in the population, but they are not as likely to be in the workforce as younger people. Participation rates help us understand which segments of the population are more likely to be in the labor market in the future. Several variables like age, generational status, employee skills, or the lack of certain skills because of skill gaps, and individual readiness for work are important factors that illustrate the workforce profile. Much has been written about and considered in terms of the different expectations and participation rates of individuals in various age groups and generations. Some common generational groups are labeled mature, born before 1946, baby boomers born between 1946 to 1964, Generation Xers born from 1965 to 1980, and millennials born from 1981 to 2000. Being able to hire people with the skills needed to help a business accomplish its goals is fundamental to sound human resource management. Employees need certain skills to make them valuable contributors to the workplace. Many efforts focus on developing skills to improve employees' readiness for work. Organizations, including human resource departments, should also address these skill shortages. Work is effort directed towards accomplishing results, and such effort may be performed by humans, machines, or both. The total amount of work to be performed in an organization must be divided into jobs so that effort can be coordinated in some logical way. A job is a grouping of tasks, duties, and responsibilities that constitutes the total work assignment of an employee. These tasks, duties, and responsibilities may change over time, and therefore the job may change. Ideally, when work processes to be done in all jobs in an organization are combined, the total should equal the amount of work that the organization needs to have done, no more, no less. The degree to which the ideal situation is met drives differences in organizational productivity. For human resource professionals, the way work flows through an organization and how to make work more efficient is also important. Formally reviewing jobs through workforce analysis can help identify what needs to be accomplished, and changing the way jobs are done through job redesign may make people feel more satisfied. Workflow analysis is the study of the way work moves through an organization. Such analysis usually begins with an examination of the quantity and quality of the desired and actual outputs, goods or services, and then the activities, tasks, or jobs that lead to the outputs are evaluated to see if they are achieving the desired outputs. Finally, the inputs, people, material, information, data, equipment, and so on, must be assessed to determine if they make the outputs and activities more effective and efficient. An integrated workflow analysis is likely to lead to better employee involvement, greater efficiency, and more customer satisfaction because the organization's work is divided into jobs that can be coordinated. The result of strong work analysis should be a more responsive workflow for customers, more efficient responses to service problems, and more empowered jobs. Job design refers to the organizing of tasks, duties, and responsibilities and other elements into a productive unit of work. Job redesign involves changing existing jobs in different ways to improve them. Job design receives attention for a number of important reasons. Job design can influence performance in many different jobs, especially those jobs where employee motivation can be influenced substantially by work factors so that performance improves. Job design can affect employees' overall job satisfaction, and under many circumstances, job design can impact both physical and mental health. Managers play a significant role in job design because they are commonly the individuals who establish jobs and their design components. Managers must make sure that the expectations, requirements, responsibilities, and accountabilities of work are made clear to all those who work in particular jobs. During job design, managers should consider the nature and characteristics of both jobs and people. Organizations employ a wide variety of workers, not just full-time employees. Depending on economic and competitive factors, these types of workers in firms can vary greatly. These may include full-time and part-time employees, independent contractors, and temporary and contingent workers. The jobs found in an organization can be designed to utilize any of the different types of employees and workers. Although some firms still use the traditional approach of employing full-time and part-time employees, many organizations are making significant use of independent, temporary, and contingent workers. A contingent worker is not a full-time employee, but is a temporary or part-time worker for a specific period of time and type of work. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, contingent workers are part of a group of alternative workers who may be on call, work through an employment agency, or operate as independent contractors. A number of contingent workers have contracts with employers that establish their pay, hours, job requirements, limitations, and time periods. Because of the inherent advantages, more employers are using contingent or temporary workers to staff different positions. Not everyone would necessarily enjoy being a human resource manager, an engineer, a nurse, or a drill press operator. However, some people do prefer these specific jobs and do well at them. These issues relate to person-job fit, which involves matching the characteristics of people with the characteristics of jobs. Consequently, different people will consider some jobs good and others bad based on the match between individual characteristics and the unchangeable components of the job. As a result, different people will find that they fit different kinds of work in unique ways. Attempts to alleviate some of the problems encountered with excessive job simplification fall under general categories of job enlargement and job enrichment. Job enlargement involves broadening the scope of a job by expanding the number of different tasks that are performed. While job enrichment involves increasing the depth of a job by adding responsibility for planning, organizing, controlling, or evaluating the job. Some examples of job enrichment include giving employees the entire job to complete rather than just a particular part of work to be performed, providing employees with more flexibility to perform jobs as needed, increasing employees' accountability for their work by reducing external control and overly close supervision, expanding assignments for employees so they can perform new tasks and develop special areas of expertise, and finally, submitting feedback reports to employees rather than only to management so that individuals have more ownership over their development. One technique that can break the monotony of an otherwise simple, routine job is job rotation, which is the process of shifting a person from job to job. The advantages to job rotation include that it develops an employee's capabilities for doing several jobs. An important model developed focuses on 5 important job design characteristics that managers can target. Let's take a look. Skill variety is the extent to which work requires several activities for successful completion. Task identity is the extent to which the job includes a recognizable unit of work that is carried out from start to finish and results in a known consequence. Task significance is the impact the job has on other people and the organization as a whole. A job is more meaningful if it's important to other individuals in the organization. Autonomy is the extent of individual freedom and discretion in the work and its scheduling. More autonomy leads to a greater feeling of personal responsibility for the work. Feedback is the amount of information employees receive about how well or how poorly they've performed. The advantage of feedback is that it helps employees understand the effectiveness of their performance, which contributes to their overall knowledge of work. Motivation, performance, and satisfaction can be influenced by the level of each job characteristic. In other words, as one or more factors increases, employees should be more engaged with their job duties and responsibilities. Autonomy and feedback are especially powerful because they can magnify the effects of other job characteristics. Teams come together to achieve a common goal. As organizations have changed, the types of teams have changed as well. Having global operations with diverse individuals using technology have affected the nature of how teams contribute to organizational projects. Mergers and acquisitions has also affected the development of leadership teams in organizations. Several types of teams may periodically function outside the scope of members' normal jobs. Let's take a look. One is a special purpose team, which is formed to address a specific problem, improve work processes, and enhance the overall quality of products and services. Special purpose teams are often a mixture of employees, supervisors, and managers that have diverse perspectives that can be provided to the group. The self-directed team is comprised of individuals who are assigned a cluster of tasks, duties, and responsibilities to be accomplished. Unlike special purpose teams, self-directed work teams become entities that use regular internal decision-making processes. The use of self-directed work teams in organizations must be planned well and fit the underlying culture of the organization if the endeavor is to be successful. The virtual team includes individuals who are separated geographically, but who are linked by communications technology. The success of virtual work team depends on a number of factors, including training of team members on virtual interactions, planning and managing virtual tasks and projects, and using technology to enhance teamwork. Leaders of virtual teams should also be given training so that they have the skills needed to be effective in the online, geographically dispersed work environment. The use of work teams has been a popular job design strategy in many organizations. Improved productivity, increased employee involvement, greater coworker trust, more widespread individual learning, and a greater individual diversity in knowledge, skills, and abilities are among the potential benefits. Flexibility can be designed into a job in several different ways, such as by changing where or when the work can be performed. Flexible work is often spearheaded by using technology to enhance collaboration among employees, enabling them to accomplish more work efficiently and effectively. There is also a growing interest in creating flexible workspaces that complement flex work by eliminating cubicle and adding open work areas and shared offices and lounges. Flexible work arrangements enable employees to work at places other than their usual work sites. These approaches are collectively referred to as telework or telecommuting. Individuals who work at home or places other than an organization's official work site illustrate telework, which means that employees complete work through electronic interactions, telecommunications, and internet technology. Some benefits of telework are environmental in nature and address problems caused by traffic, vehicle emissions, and overbuilding. Employees find that they spend less on gasoline, vehicle maintenance, lunches, and dry cleaning. Not traveling to work saves employees time that can be used in other activities. Employees are also more productive due to higher morale and decreased stress. The ability to telecommute can help attract new employees and retain current employees because they're more satisfied and committed to the employer. However, some disadvantages are associated with telework. Some typical concerns include the following. Employees may not enjoy telework beyond a certain number of hours worked. Employees can feel like they're isolated socially from their coworkers. The electronic media used to facilitate telework may limit how well employees can interact with one another. Employees who have children and other responsibilities at home may face role conflict when work gets in the way. Some employees may also prefer to have more of a boundary between work and home. The nature of the employment relationship with teleworkers should be outlined in a policy that establishes clear work expectations as well as the boundaries between work and home. After careful consideration of these issues, companies can develop telework in several ways. Regular, meaning that employees may spend scheduled days or every day at the office or at home. Brief occasional, where employees use a home offices on weekends or nights to do a project. Or temporary or emergency, where during bad weather, a natural disaster, or other events causing disruptions, employees work from home. Considering different work schedules can be a part of designing jobs. Non-standard schedules have been developed for employees in various occupations. Organizations are using many work scheduling arrangements, including shift work, the compressed work week, part-time schedules, job sharing, and FLEXTIME. The traditional work schedule in the United States of 8 hours a day, 5 days a week is in a transition. Workers may work fewer or more than 8 hours at the workplace and may work additional hours at home. A common work schedule design is shift work, which requires employees to work on various schedules that function at different times throughout a workday. Many organizations need 24-hour coverage and therefore may schedule 3 shifts per day, each 8 hours long. Most employers provide some type of additional pay, called a shift differential, for working in the evening or night shifts. Some types of shift work have been known to cause difficulties for some employees, such as weariness, irritability, lack of motivation, and some illness. Another type of work schedule design is the compressed work week, which involves accomplishing a full week's work in fewer than 5 days, 8 hours each. Compression usually results in more work hours each day and fewer work days each week, such as a 4-day week with 10-hour days or a 3-day week with 12-hour shifts. Part-time jobs are used when less than 40 hours per week are required for some workers to perform their work in an organization. Part-time jobs are attractive for those who may not want to work a 40-hour work week, including older employees, parents of small children, and students. In some cases, professionals may choose part-time work because it fits their personal and occupational preferences. Another alternative solution is job sharing, which involves 2 employees performing the work of one full-time job. Such arrangements are beneficial for employees who may not want or be able to work full-time because of family responsibilities, school schedules, or other personal and professional reasons. In FLEXTIME, employees work a set number of hours a day, but might vary starting and ending times to meet scheduling flexibility. Another variation of this theme, employees may work 30 minutes longer Monday through Thursday, take shorter breaks, and leave at 1 or 2 on Fridays. For many employees, balancing their work and personal lives is a significant concern. Work-life balance involves employee-sponsored programs designed to help employees balance work and personal responsibilities. So that means that job analysis is the systematic way of gathering and analyzing information about the content, context, and human requirements of jobs. Job analysis is the basis for all human resource practices because the process sets up how employees are hired, trained, developed, evaluated, and compensated. Information from job analysis can be helpful in making a distinction among jobs, including the following: work activities and behaviors, interactions with others, performance standards, financial and budgeting impact, machines and equipment used, working conditions, supervision given and received, and knowledge, skills, and abilities needed. To be successful, job analysis requires a high degree of coordination and cooperation between the human resource unit and operating managers, and assigning responsibility for job analysis depends on who can best perform various parts of the process. Different types of job analysis can be used to secure information about jobs. The most traditional and widely used method is a task-based job analysis. However, some organizations have emphasized the need for a competency-based approach. Task-based job analysis is the most common type and focuses on the components and characteristics of work embedded within a job. A task is a distinct, identifiable work activity comprised of motions that employees perform, whereas a duty is a larger segment comprised of several tasks that are performed by individuals. Responsibilities are the obligations that individuals have to perform certain tasks and duties within a job. Therefore, the overall goal of task-based job analysis is to identify all of the tasks, duties, and responsibilities that are part of a job. Unlike the traditional task-based approach to analyzing jobs, the competency approach considers how knowledge and skills are used. Competencies are the individual capabilities that can be linked to enhanced performance by individuals or teams. The competency approach to job analysis focuses on identifying the key individual characteristics that make employees successful on the job, and unlike task-based approaches to job analysis, one of the main purposes is to influence future job performance. As such, the competency approach may be more broadly focused on behaviors rather than just tasks, duties, and responsibilities. The decision about whether to use a task-based or competency-based approach to job analysis is affected by the nature of jobs. However, task-based analysis is likely to remain more widely used because it's more defensible legally. Analysts usually follow a multi-stage process regardless of the specific job analysis methods used. Careful job analysis is planned to ensure a successful outcome, which is a useful job description. I recommend this simple 5-step cyclical process for job analysis. The stages for a typical job analysis, as outlined here, may vary somewhat with the number of jobs included and the organization itself. Prior to the job analysis process itself, planning should be done to gather information about jobs from managers and employees. Probably the most important consideration is to identify the objectives of the job analysis, which might be as simple as updating job descriptions or as comprehensive as revising the organization's compensation programs. Whatever the purpose identified, the effort needs to be supported by top management. Preparing for job analysis includes identifying the jobs to be analyzed. Organization charts, existing job descriptions, previous job analysis information, and other resources are reviewed next. This includes identifying who will be involved in conducting the job analysis and the methods to be used. A key part is identifying and communicating the process to appropriate managers, affected employees, and others. Data about jobs are collected using various methods. These methods used are based on time and available resources. Once data from jobs are compiled, the information can be sorted by job, organizational unit, and job family. At the document stage, the job analyst drafts job descriptions and job specifications. Completed drafts are reviewed by managers and supervisors, and then with employees before they're finalized. Once job descriptions and specifications have been completed and reviewed by all appropriate individuals, a system must be developed for keeping them current and posted in the organization. One effective way to ensure that appropriate reviews occur is to use current job descriptions and specifications as part of other human resource activities. Implementing your job analysis process is the foundation for what we do in human resource management. Job analysis is the systematic process of identifying tasks, duties, and responsibilities expected to be performed in a job, as well as the competencies to be successful. The outcome is job documentation. Traditionally, the most common methods of job analysis have been observations, interviews, and questionnaires. However, the expansion of technology has led to computerization and web-based job analysis information gathering methods. Sometimes a combination of these approaches is used depending on the situation and the organization. With the observation method, a manager, job analyst, or industrial engineer watches an employee perform the job and takes notes that describe the tasks and duties performed. The observation method is limited because many jobs do not have complete and easily observed job duties or job cycles. Thus, observation may be more useful for repetitive jobs and in conjunction with other methods, or it can be used to verify information. One type of observation, work sampling, does not require attention to each detailed action throughout the entire work cycle. This method allows a job analyst to determine the content and pace of a typical workday through statistical sampling of certain actions rather than through conscious observation and timing of all actions. Work sampling is particularly useful for routine and repetitive jobs because the factors of work do not change significantly from one day to the next. Another observation method requires employees to observe their own performance by keeping a diary or log of their job duties, noting how frequently those duties are performed and the time required for each. Although this approach can generate useful information, it can be burdensome for employees to compile an accurate log while still performing their jobs. Technology can facilitate the logging or diary approach, reducing some of the problems associated with balancing data collection and work completion. The interview method requires a manager, job analyst, or human resource specialist to talk with employees performing each job. A standardized interview form is often used to record the information to ensure consistency. Both the employee and the employee's supervisor should be included to obtain complete details about the job. Sometimes groups or panel interviews are used to collect information about jobs. A team of subject matter experts, or SMEs, who have varying insights about a job or a group of jobs is assembled to provide job analysis information. This option may be particularly useful for highly technical or complicated jobs because a great deal of complex information can be collected from groups of employees who work in those jobs. Since the interview method alone can be quite time-consuming, combining it with one of the other methods is common practice. The questionnaire is a widely used method of gathering job data because of its ease of use and convenience. The questionnaire is given to employees and managers to complete. This method offers a major advantage in that information about a large number of jobs can be collected inexpensively and in a relatively short period of time. However, the questionnaire method assumes that employees can accurately analyze and communicate information about their jobs, which may not be the case in all situations. Using interviews and observations in combination with the questionnaire method allows analysts to clarify and verify the information gathered in questionnaires. A variety of resources to help with job analysis are available from the U.S. Department of Labor, the DOL, and these resources have been developed and used over many years by a variety of entities. ONET is currently the main DOL resource available that provides employers with a wide range of useful items. ONET also now contains the Dictionary of Occupational Titles, or DOT, which has hundreds of job descriptions already written and available. The ONET database now contains more than 800 occupations classified by industry. Included in the occupational categories are the following factors: task statements of importance, relevance, and frequency; abilities, work activities, knowledge, skills, and work content; training, work experiences, and education; and interests and work values, including work styles and job zones. The outcome of good job analysis is great job documentation. After completing job analysis, a job description is created and revised. Data and information gathered through analysis should be used to draft meaningful and accurate job documentation. A detailed examination of jobs, although necessary, can sometimes be a demanding and disruptive experience for both managers and employees, in part because job analysis can identify the difference between what is currently being performed in a job and what should be done. A job analysis and the resulting job description and job specifications should not just describe what the person currently in the job does and that person's qualifications. The incumbent may have unique capabilities and the ability to expand the scope of the job to assume more responsibilities, but the employer might have difficulty finding a suitable replacement if the person were to leave. Consequently, it's useful to focus on core job duties and necessary knowledge, skills, and abilities by determining what the job would be if the incumbent were to quit or move to a different job. People have a tendency to inflate the importance and significance of their jobs because they're not completely objective. Since job analysis information is used for compensation purposes, both managers and employees may hope that puffing up jobs will result in higher pay levels. Doing so often convolutes job analysis processes and results in inaccurate and confusing job descriptions. Inflated job titles also can be used to make jobs sound better and subsequently increase employee pride without making major job changes or pay adjustments. Both employees and managers may have concerns about the job analysis process. If done correctly, the resulting job description should identify the activities performed in a job. However, it's difficult to capture all facets of a job in which employees perform a variety of duties and operate with a high degree of independence. One concern that employees have involves the purpose of a detailed investigation of their jobs. Some employees fear that an analysis of their jobs will limit their creativity and flexibility by overly formalizing their job duties. They may also be concerned about pay deductions or even layoffs as a result of job analysis. Another concern of managers and supervisors is that job analysis and job descriptions will unrealistically limit managerial flexibility. Since workloads and demands change rapidly, managers and supervisors may elect to move duties to other employees, cross-train employees, and have a flexible means available to accomplish work. If job descriptions are written or used restrictively, employees may argue that a change or omission in a job description should limit management's flexibility to require that work. In organizations with unionized workforces, some very restrictive job descriptions may exist. The Uniform Guidelines on Employee Selection Procedures make it clear that human resource requirements must be tied to specific job-related factors if employers are to defend their actions as a business necessity. Job descriptions are frequently the link between these job-related factors because they describe the important tasks, duties, and responsibilities, and they often provide a basic overview of the individual characteristics needed to perform work. One result of the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, is an increased emphasis by employers on conducting job analysis, as well as developing and maintaining current and accurate job descriptions and job specifications. The ADA requires that organizations identify the essential job functions, which are fundamental duties of a job. These do not include the marginal functions of the position. Marginal job functions are duties that are a part of a job but are incidental or ancillary to the purpose and nature of the job. Three major considerations are used in determining essential functions and marginal functions, including the following. First, the percentage of time spent on tasks. Second, the frequency of tasks performed on the job. And third, the importance of the tasks performed. The Federal Fair Labor Standards Act, or FLSA, and most state wage and hour laws require that the percentage of time employees spend on manual, routine, or clerical duties affects whether they must be paid overtime for hours worked in excess of 40 hours per week. To be exempt from overtime, employees must perform their primary duties as executive, administrative, professional, or outside sales employees. The term primary has been interpreted to mean occurring at least 50% of the time. Job documentation impacts every functional area of human resource management, making job analysis a crucial strategic function of human resource management. A job description identifies the job's tasks, duties, and responsibilities. It describes what is done, why it's done, where it's done, and briefly how it's done. While the job description outlines activities to be done, the job specifications list the knowledge, skills, and abilities, known as KSAs, an individual needs to perform the job satisfactorily. KSAs might include education, experience, work skill requirements, personal abilities, and mental and physical requirements a person needs to do the job, but not necessarily the current employee's qualifications. Performance standards flow directly from a job description and indicate what the job accomplishes and how performance is measured in key areas of the job description. If employees know what's expected and how performance is measured, they'll have a better chance of performing satisfactorily. Performance standards must be communicated to employees if the job descriptions are to be effective tools. A typical job description contains several major parts. Following, we'll present an overview of the most common components. Each organization formats job descriptions in the way best suited for its inherent culture and management practices. Consistency of information and formatting across the organization's job descriptions ensures uniformity. The first part of a job description is the identification section, which includes the job title, department, reporting relationships, location, and date of analysis. It's advisable to note other information that's useful in tracking jobs and employees through HR systems. Additional items commonly noted in the identification section are a job code, pay grade, exempt, non-exempt status under the Fair Labor Standards Act, and the EEOC classification from the EEO-1 form. The general summary is a concise statement of the general responsibilities and components that make the job different from others. Simply put, in 30 words or less, describe the essence of the job. Often, the summary is written after all other sections are completed so that a more complete overview is prepared. The essential functions and duties are generally listed in order of importance in this component of the job description. It contains clear, precise statements of the major tasks, duties, and responsibilities performed in the job. Writing this section is often the most time-consuming aspect of preparing job descriptions because of the amount of detail of information reported. The qualifications needed to perform the job satisfactorily are identified in the job specifications section. The job specifications typically are stated as knowledge, skills, and abilities, education and experience, and physical requirements and working conditions. The components of job specifications provide necessary information to determine things like accommodations that might or might not be possible under the Americans with Disabilities Act. Many job descriptions include approval signatures by appropriate managers and a legal disclaimer. The disclaimer allows employers to change employees' job duties or to request employees to perform duties not listed so the job description is not viewed as a contract between the employer and employee. The critical end product of job analysis is job descriptions, which identify the key tasks, duties, and responsibilities of jobs, and job specifications, which list the knowledge, skills, and abilities needed to perform the job satisfactorily.